This is part 2 to my Creative Professional series, Creating a Written Quote. What does a quote actually look like? So to recap some of the characteristics of a quote: the greeting and acknowledgement, restating the request, the exact pricing, next steps, time frames, closing and request for a response, branding, and your business contact information. So to kind of get started in the section for the greeting and acknowledgement, you're going to basically thank them and tell them pretty much restating what they are requesting, but you're doing it in writing. You're going to make sure that it's very clear. There's a 30-day quote, the date for it to be for you to count 30 days out, who it's for, and to whom's attention. Then you're going to have the colors, theme, items quoted, and quantity. In the section where you can either entitle this pricing or proposal, but I've done it as a proposal depending on who the client is. I'm going to say exactly what's being proposed, and I'm going to provide pricing and a few details of exactly what's entailed in that pricing. As the video moves on, you'll see that I started with this template that I've saved, and I've gone back in depending on the client to adjust it for how many things I'm quoting prices on. For this one, I'm just going to do 2. So you'll see me make adjustments for the quantity and then adjust the pricing for that. And then a lot of people are just like, so, hey, what's the total price? You'll see me in the section where you see the option 1 in red, option 2, option 3. I'll break down exactly what the pricing is, plus tax and any flat rate shipping. And then I'll put the total. So that way they'll say, you'll see when it says next steps, it tells them to advise on their quantity and what they're wanting, pick the option number, and it'll tell them exactly in this proposal section exactly how much what they're asking for costs. It kind of just makes it easier. So I'm going in to the section and updating the pricing, the estimated time frame, because in a quote, before somebody's going to give you their money on an order, they're going to want to know if the work that you're going to do is going to fit into the time frame that they discuss with you when hopefully you've had a consultation with them. So you'll see in this quote that I have the first option 1 is for a quantity of 150 invitation sets. And then option 2 is for a quantity of 100. And I'm just going in, since this is a manual example of it, I'm going in with my calculator and making sure that the amounts are correct, because whatever is quoted is something that you're going to have to stick with. At least that's the practice that I follow. So like I mentioned before, since there are 2 options, I'm going in and I'm just basically copying the line totals, adding in tax, which is in Fulton County, Georgia, 7.75%. I've added that. And then my flat fee for shipping, which was $12.99 on that type of order. Makes more sense and it's easier to quote. And then getting the complete total with all of the additional costs for option 1 and for option 2. This way, I just find over time, over my experience, that somebody just being able to say, hey, I want option 1, it makes it a whole lot easier. So you'll just be able to send them the invoice, they'll pay for it, and you can get started because everything's already in writing and they've agreed to it. In some situations, it'll require a contract, and generally with quotes, it's for a smaller client or a smaller business. Contracts, since it could be for a larger entity, it's probably better to be used for a larger entity. But no matter what, you've got something in writing that can be stuck to. So on page 2 is the next steps. And it gives very clear ideas on what needs to be done, like, hey, reply with this, tell me if there's anything missing. And then again, at the very bottom of the second page, I'm saying, hey, this is the time frame. This is when I can start, or my business can start on this work. And this, depending upon when you reply, this may change, so that there's no questions into this whole process. And I'm using my calendar to make sure of my time frame. Typically quoted in business days. Your choice, of course. So now that you have a complete quote The next step is for this particular customer, save this as some naming convention that you can remember so that you can get ready to send this to your client either via attached PDF or a link of some sort. In PDF, if you have Adobe PDF, there's a link that you can share so a customer can access it from wherever or share it with whoever needs to have it. So this document has been saved and it is now ready to send to a client. Thanks for watching.